Well, I started building saddle shaps and everything else in my father's saddle shop, and then started making bareback riding gloves in 1991, and from that point on I got busier and busier and busier the better I made gloves, and it's taken over my whole life, so I haven't done anything but gloves for probably 15 to 16 years now. When I was going to professional rodeos, there were guys that were trying to get me to learn how to build bareback riding gloves because they knew I had a saddle shop and built all this other stuff. It was just getting really hard to get good gloves. There was only one guy making the ones that most everybody would use, and it may take months to get them if you needed them. Guys can't wait months. So I started developing gloves. Every time I took some to a rodeo, I'd ask the guys, what do I need to fix? What do I need to do to make them better? And it took me about 3 or 4 years, and I started getting some that were pretty good comparatively to what they were. But nobody could ever shut their hands. The bareback riding gloves are a real thick, heavy cowhide glove that's heavier than any welding glove that you'll ever use. And you're supposed to be able to use your grip to hang on, but we couldn't do that. You had to cram your hand in so tight that it cut all the circulation off on your hand, made it swell up like crazy, hurt your hand to the point when you was riding, you didn't want to get on because your hand just killed it. It hurt, it swelled up all the time. So I've been trying to figure out ways to make the glove curve from the palm all the way up to the fingertips. And I've gotten 3 different patents over the years. My first one was in 2001. And within about a year and a half after I put that into effect, I took over most of the world market in the bareback riding gloves. And I've kept developing, changing that with a different type of a design for my second one. And then when I came up with the double curve design, I wasn't sure it was possible to do and still make a glove that didn't have twists and turns in the fingers. And I'm finally getting everything figured out, and we've actually got a glove that is so heavy and thick that you should never be able to shut your hand, but it sits in a relaxed position like this, and to close your hand takes no effort at all. It's just ridiculous. I can shut that thing clear to here and it doesn't wad up, it doesn't pinch me. So we knew that this is something that shouldn't be just for bareback riders and bull riders. It should be for the whole working world. The normal inside finger on a glove looks something like this, and it lays at the base of your finger and goes full length to the tip of your finger. Now that wraps around your hand something like that, and it's sewn in a flat position. When I try to close my hand, this back piece has to stretch and stretch and stretch in order for me to close my hand. And the further I close my hand, the more that wads up and puts a great big wad of junk inside my finger that pinches me and stops me from holding on to anything. So if I take that same design and I cut little slots out where I'm going to put these extender wedges in, what I'm going to do is push that into the same exact spot right to the fingertip. And when I close this, as I open these up and put some extra pieces in that extend these and make it curve before I sew it to the back of the hand, what it does is it arcs it like this and opens it up. So you can see how these are starting to open up. So when they're opened up and I sew the glove together, now I've got that much distance on the inside of my fingers that I can cut off and it's gone. And the back doesn't have to stretch to get to the closed point, so I don't have to stretch the back, I don't have to fight that, and I don't have to fight the wadding inside the finger. So what we're ending up doing is we're taking a normal glove that's designed like this for the finger, and when we put these wedges in, it opens it up and it makes it curve that far before you get any stress on your hand and stress on the muscles closing the hand. So there is no possible way for somebody to make a glove that will feel like this, except in some pre-curved designs that have stitching running up and down all of the fingers, and every time you use that glove, you start wearing out those stitches. So the glove falls apart, even if it possibly feels as good as ours. But ours, when you close your hand, the stitching is all in places where it never gets hit. So you can't wear the stitches out unless it's just on the outsides of the hand somewhere, or possibly right in the fingertips itself. But the biggest area that you're going to wear is all through the palm, all through here. And because the stitches are in places where you don't wear the stitches out, they don't come apart. So you have to wear completely through the leather and wear holes in the leather to be able to have to go get another glove. I mean, they just last. We're outlasting the other brands anywhere from 3 to 10 times on an average. That makes the gloves worth a lot more money. And then plus you've got all the better dexterity, and they wear so much more even all the way through the palm and through the fingers, because you've got a smooth grip. You don't have great big bubbles wearing holes in spots every time you're grabbing a hold of something. It just shuts, it conforms. The tools aren't slipping in your hands anymore. We've even got guys using some work gloves I made for lifting weights because they can hold on to the dumbbells better. They don't slip in their hands. We've tried them for racquetball. They work better for that than any racquetball glove I've ever used in my life. The guy that is going to make these gloves for us right now makes this glove. He wants to make this glove. The differences in these two gloves is not the leather. It's exactly the same leather. It's made by the same company. This is my relaxed hand in this glove. Flat, you can see it. This is my new design with the same leather. That's my relaxed hand. This is not a broken in glove. It's never been shaped, it's never been used. I just put it on my hand. So if I have to close my hand to get it around a tool, I have to go this far. When I close this glove, right at this point, I'm starting to get restriction. At this point, it's wadding up and it's getting tight, and nothing fits back in here. It feels like the fingers are clear up to your knuckles. Mine go all the way down, fit all the way down, and being relaxed this far, and all I have to do to grab a shovel handle is do this. There's no stress on my hand. I have to fight this one. It's pinching my fingers, and it's not the leather. It's just the design. So when I wear this one and I'm working in it, all these little wrinkles and stuff, I'm going to start getting holes in them, and it's going to pinch my fingers and make it uncomfortable, and I'm going to get my hands and my forearms tired because I have to force my hand to grip, or I have to break them in for a couple of weeks, and then they start feeling pretty good, and by then they're about ready to fall apart. This one, on average, the guys that use these for 2 weeks have been using these for 2 to 3 months, and if you break these in, you can't even tell you got a glove on your hand, and they fit tight. If you want them to fit tight, if you want a looser pair, you just go up a half size. When I was trying to get these gloves out so I could get some great big glove companies to pay attention and take interest and maybe make a royalty deal, I did get their interest, but I didn't get them to really bite. But I was handing out free glove samples through a distributor, actually 2 of them, and letting different guys with different union jobs, some of them with Bonneville Power, some with construction in different areas, try all these different gloves just to see if they lasted longer, if they could work in them better. The first thing that happened is one of the distributors just about laughed me out of their store and just went, "Oh yeah, that's a nice soft glove, whoopee." And I said, "No, I'm not here to sell you anything. All I want you to do is give 2 pair of these out to different guys, some of your best customers. Just let them try them. If they don't come back to you when they're done with the testing and tell you that these gloves are so much more comfortable than anything they've ever used, that they don't ever want to use anything again if they can get any kind of a decent price at all, and if they don't tell you they've lasted at least 3 times longer than anything else they've ever used with that same type of material, don't call me back." 3 weeks later, I got a call back. One of the guys had offered $100 if I would make him another pair, and I said, "No, I'm not doing this to try and get myself more business because I can't really make a living at that. I need to get this thing under big production, and we need to go big. I work all the hours I can stand anyway." So I didn't do that, but I had one guy that worked for Bonneville Power that tested a pair of deerskin gloves for almost 2 years and finally came back and said, look, I want 4 pair of your gloves and I'm going to tell everybody about them and tell them how great they are, but I need 2 pair of deer and 2 pair of elk, and I can't stand to wear anything else again, so I will pay you whatever you want. Since he was going to help me out, I made him 4 pair for $400. That was about a year and a half ago. He was going to give 2 pair away and keep 2 pair for himself, and he's still using them. They're still going, and he still can't stand to use any other glove out there. This has happened in almost every situation. I also, with the same distributor, handed out 5 different pairs to different people in different union jobs and told them to call this distributor with their results, not to call me. Every one of those guys called them back with exactly the same results as the other guy. They lasted way longer. They felt so much better that they couldn't stand to put any other ones on. There's no end to where we can go with this thing if we get the production and we get them in the people's hands, because once the people use them, I can just about guarantee they will not ever want to use any other brand again. It's simple as that.